Hey guys, this is Maverick with another Minecraft video. So in this video, I'm going to be blowing some stuff up. Actually, I've got my regenerating walls built, and I'm going to test them out and share that test with you, and let's see if they actually work. But before I start that, I wanted to address some questions I've gotten in-game about the recent raid that against this party room, and people have been asking me who did it, how do I know who did it, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to share with you how I was troubleshooting that problem and figuring it out. So I came on to find that our faction party room right here, this is what we call it, the party room, had a few holes blown in the floor, and I noticed that there was a player on that was invisible, wearing diamond armor in our in this area. And so I went over and just took a little swipe at him, and it said I couldn't hurt him because we were at truce. So right there, I knew that we had someone in our base who was not a member of our faction and who was truced. So what I then did is I'll actually show you what I did. I then did list, and I grabbed everybody. I did F2 to grab the names, and I scrolled down because the list was so long, did F2 again. And so I had everybody who was on the server right at that moment in a list. I was then able to compare that list against those factions that we had truces with. And so out of all the people that were on the server, there were only 5 that were on the server that I saw that were in factions with whom we had truces. At that point, in fact, there were in 3 different factions. So at that point, I then did Baltop and went down the top Baltops for 2 or 3 of them, and I found that there were only out of those 5 players from 3 different factions, only 2 players had anywhere near enough money to be able to afford tons of creeper eggs. So I have 5 potential people that were behind this griefing, this truce griefing. And the reason I use the word griefing is because, yes, there were some aspects of it that were a raid, and a raid is when you're going out and trying to get stuff for your faction, and that's all good. But there were also aspects of it that were just griefing, and griefing is when you cause harm to someone, even though it's going to actually harm you. And the reason I say that is because one of my faction members had some dogs up here, and they decided to kill those dogs, even though there's no benefit to them to kill those dogs. And in fact, that just means that that member of my faction, is now going to be seeking revenge. Not that I really care about it, but they're upset about it. So whenever you're griefing someone, that means that you're just causing harm to them. You're blowing up their stuff or whatever it is without any benefit to you yourself. And that's not something I do. In our faction, I'm all about raiding. I think it's cool to raid. I think it's fun to strengthen the faction. But I don't do things that harm my faction or my faction mates. And that's really all that griefing ever does. So if you're just blowing stuff up, if you're killing pets or whatever it is, just to I don't know, just to have control over the situation or try to be a bit of a jerk, that's not anything that we do, and we certainly don't do that under truce to people that we have pledged truce to. So that's the difference between us and the person that did this. So I think it was a mistake on their part, but anyway, so I have a very, very short list of potential candidates. Really, there's only 2. That's how short this list is. And I have ways of determining which of those 2 people did this. Presumably, they have left a home in our base because, as I learned from this episode, truces can set homes in your base, and I didn't know that beforehand. So I'm educated, and anyone watching this video is educated too. Be careful of allowing truces in your base because they can set home, and when they set home, even after the truce has been canceled, they can go ahead and TP into your base and potentially do things to you. So anyway, that's how as you saw below, though we've cleaned up everything. There wasn't that much of a mess, and we didn't lose anything worth mentioning. So except maybe those dogs. However, I will also say that I'm a fat dog. Our faction member who put those dogs that pack together actually had other dogs in a separate location. We didn't keep all the dogs in one location. So because of that, it's just an inconvenience. It's not really any true harm done to us. And again, if whoever did this would like to reach out and confess and say mea culpa, I'm happy to let it be bygones be bygones. But if you don't do that, I will find out who it is sooner or later. And at that point, well, there's going to have to be a little bit of payback, just because griefing is not cool. Not that I really care, but just the principle of the thing, right? So anyway, here we are at the top of our base, and since the raid by what's his name, Nemo, of Peace Crew, we hadn't actually built this layer, and so we finished more or less. We finished this second floor of our base. Kind of wanted to show it off. This is the pillars. We've got marble slab ceiling, red stained clay along the center just to give it a little bit of texture. And then we've got a nice big Afro Circus. Here it is right here, AC. That's for Afro Circus on the floor. Panda did a nice job building this out. And we'll fill this with probably grinders and other things like that. But as you may have seen from above this, the walls that we're looking at are meant to be self-regenerating. I have not tested this on this server. I've tested it in creative mode and it works fine. But these right here are the walls, and this right here is right above each of those quartz pillars. And what you're seeing here are hollow pillars that are filled with lava source blocks on the inside. And then on the outside of these walls is water. Now, you may say, Mafro, but your roof is super easy. Well, that's true. We haven't finished. So what we'll be doing is we'll be covering this with water and then another layer of roofing material at some point. But for the time being, I thought I'd just share this and test this. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on actually setting off TNT against these walls and seeing if they regenerate. Now, what that will do, though, just to be clear, is that, and I fully understand this, it's going to blow up the wall somewhere over here, and we'll probably lose some of these stone brick. We'll lose some red stained clay, and we'll probably lose some of the pillar as well. And we did that on purpose because if I just made this entirely out of cobblestone, then I wouldn't be able to tell when people had blown it up because it would just regenerate. So instead, the idea here is that we wanted to make this pretty because we're going to spend some time in here and do stuff. And design is part of one of the things that I like in Minecraft. And if someone does cannon our walls, I want to be able to tell. And so what we should see is we should see this replaced with cobblestone, assuming that the regeneration of the walls works. And as far as I know, it should, but we're about to find out. So in my inventory, I've got some TNT. So here it is. I've got some TNT. I've got a glass block, which I'll be using. I've got some replacement blocks to fix things afterwards. And, of course, flint and steel to set off that TNT. So I'm going to head over here to my walls, and I'm going to basically reproduce what would happen if someone were to TNT our walls. And you can see this is where our walls were TNT'd before in the past. And we still have this big kind of cavern here from all the TNT that Nemo and Peace Crew used in a failed attempt to get into our base. But so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and place a glass block. I guess I'll do it right here. I want to just get it as close as I can to something that I can kind of pay attention to. And this glass block is meant to represent if sand had fallen. Oh, and I just realized I've forgotten sand. So hold on one second. I'll be right back. I got to go get some sand. I'm back with sand now. And so the idea here is that I'm going to be placing a block of TNT, and then I'm going to place a block of sand above it. And what this is essentially doing is this is mimicking if someone had pillared up sand to this point and fired a hybrid cannon shot right here. And once I set off this TNT, the sand will fall within it, so the two will merge together, and it should explode, and it should destroy a whole bunch of things. And we'll just see how much damage it causes, one, and whether or not the wall regenerates. So that's the plan right now, and hopefully I don't just die here. I need to make sure that I can run away from the blast. So here we are. I can see the TNT. I'm not going to crouch and set it off using blast mining, but here we go. It's going right now. I'm running over here, and we should hear a nice big boom. And there it is. So let's see what happened here. And the wall is solid. Check it out, guys. So it totally worked. And I'm a fat dog. Just came online. He's probably freaking out because thinking we're under attack. But really what I'm doing was just to test out the regeneration capability of the wall. So let's see what kind of damage we did here. And we see he must realize that I'm recording because he thinks he's famous. All right, let's see what we did now. So there it is. All right, that was beautiful. You saw how quickly that wall regenerated, and there it is right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm really happy with this. This is ideal. In fact, it doesn't look like it even damaged any of the column. I was hoping it wouldn't. And so I'm just going to repair this real quick. So let's see. I want to make sure I get my my red clay in the right place. But this is really cool. I'm very, very happy with this test. So this was me, Mafro, just testing auto-regenerating walls on Emenbee.net. And if you'd like to, I kind of showed you already how to build them. But if you'd like to build them yourself, I encourage you, if you'd like me to do another video, oops, I'm putting the wrong block here. If you'd like me to do another video showing exactly how to build them. I'm fine with that. Look at that. I can't even, this is so funny. If I break this open, it closes itself. So I got to be quick. So anyway, good stuff. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This is Mafro with Afro Circus on Emenbee.net. Bye guys.